So, you know, then here comes this guy, the coworker, Stella, right? And he's 6 foot. You know what I mean? Height doesn't matter because I'm 5'1". Everybody's fucking taller than me. You know what I mean? Everybody's fucking taller than me, so it's not gonna matter. I'm not one of those like, oh my god, this man needs to be. I'm short, so everybody towers over me. It don't fucking matter. Everybody's a tall king. When I'm a fucking dwarf, I am a gnome, as you can see clearly. My gnomey tree. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a fucking gnome. Everybody's taller than me. Shit, I got the beard. Fucking. This is horrible. I gotta make light of it because it's like otherwise I would just be like, yeah, you know what I mean? So, but he's tall. The only thing that we really had in common is like we have like Nigerian backgrounds, you know what I mean? And so I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. Like I'm just, all that shit. But really when you looked at it, it's like we had nothing in common. When you were born, my dude, like I was 7. I already lived life, like per se, you know what I mean? Because 7-year-old living life, drinking beer, all this shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was 7. I was born in 1990. So in 97, I was already almost, in a couple of years, going to be out of elementary school, going into middle school. I've already had mad things happen to me and my family. I already had, like, formative years. And you just popped out the pussy. Like, the fuck? What do you know? You don't know anything about me. Somebody who was born in 92, 93, maybe 94. But, like, what do you know? You don't know anything. And that's fine. And I'm only saying that because, yes, like, people could be any age and be mature and all these different things, of course. However, if we're looking at it plainly, like, we had nothing in common. And there's so many things that I saw from a different point of view, from my experiences, that he had no idea about. You know what I mean? Everybody in their own time. So clearly there's nothing in common, but I get attracted because it's like you're showing me attention. And after a 10-year relationship where the only attention I was getting was either when you want something, when you want to get your rocks off, or when you want to, attack me, or when you want to argue, or when you want to fucking siphon from me, right? That's the only time that you look for me. But other than that, it's like, I don't want you. So, of course I'm going to get stupid because I'm also vulnerable at this moment. So, we had a few moments, we flirted, you know what I mean? And there was one moment that really kind of solidified everything at this moment where every time that he would come around me, he would never talk about his wife, but I would bring her up because I'm like, hello, how is she? We're friends. Like, what do you not gonna talk to her? You not gonna say nothing about her? She don't matter? Especially when you're talking to a girl who's newly single, but you knew her when she had a boyfriend, and now all this stuff, like, it's too much. You know what I mean? So, but it solidified one day where I was just having like the worst day ever. One of the many worst days at that job before I left. I was having the worst day ever, and I really put my all into this job, and it just seemed like nothing was ever enough. Nothing was ever going to be enough. And so they kept telling me like, yo, you're not giving your 100%. You know what I mean? Like, look at this person. She's giving her 100%. But I'm like, no, but why don't you you want to take her? Why don't you look at her? She's frazzled. She's out of her mind. She's frantic. She's 24/7. Like, oh my God. You have her wired. You ain't gonna have me like that. I already had 10, 11 years of that shit. I'm not gonna let no job fucking make me do that. Not for a paycheck. Because that's where I was. People are like, well, you need the money, this and that, this and that. All right, well, yeah. But there are a lot of jobs out there, and a lot of jobs that are forming, and a lot of jobs that are coming online that actually prioritize people's mental health and don't treat people like a factory line, even though they're on computers. You get me? So there's that. And I came out of the meeting, and Stella was at the front desk reception covering for that time. And he saw me walk out. He was like, yo, Autumn, what's up? And I gave him this look like, not now. Please, not now. Because I'm trying to hold back tears. Because I'm just like, yo, like, I'm dying. You know? So he sees me. I go sit back at my desk, which is on the far end of the office. Somehow I don't know who he got to cover his fucking shift at that. You know what I mean? And next thing I know, I see him coming like 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes later, through the doors where my desk is, my cubicle is. He looks at me, and I'm like trying to hold back tears because I'm like, oh my God. He's like, yo, let's go. And I'm like, fuck it. All right, fine. So we go into one of the conference rooms, and he looks at me, he's like, you okay? And I just burst out crying because I'm like, yo, like I've been holding in so much for so long. And it's like, yo, this is like the tipping point. Like, I don't like fucking crying in front of people. I'm a fucking thug, bitch. I'm a thug who just happens to like cat ears and cute little creepy things. But I'm a thug. I promise you, I'm a thug. Don't let the giggles fool you. I'm a thug. I promise. But I don't like to cry in front of people, right? So I just bursted out crying. So next thing I know, he's like giving me a hug, and he's just telling me everything that I fucking wanted to hear from my ex. He's just telling me everything that I fucking wanted to hear from a man. Seeing me at that moment, I'm just like, yo, like, I latched on because I was so deprived of masculine energy. Even though his shit wasn't fucking right either, but we're getting to that. Oh, thank you for the sun, because it was getting cold. So, right? So we're there, and I'm telling him what's happening. He's like, yo, like, girl, they don't deserve you. You know they don't deserve you. Like, da-da-da, all this stuff. I hate when y'all niggas do that. Why y'all do that? Y'all look like a fly. Just like, you ever seen a fly? They just be doing that. Like, why? Come to me on some other shit. Do something else. Wag your tail. I don't know. But that fly moisturizing his face, hand rub with his own vomit. Nah. Maybe if we joking so much. Anyways, the point is, like, he's just like in that shit, and I'm just like eating it up at this moment because I am so vulnerable. And then it just kind of locked in. And so the next day came, and we had a training, a group training for our unit, and the provider came in, and we were getting ready. I didn't see him all day, but I was wearing like one of my favorite dresses. I called it the potato sack dress. Got ruined, but a potato sack dress. And here he is. And I see him at the end of the hall because he's so fucking tall. Like, you can't, like, you know. And next thing, he's walking to me like that, where's my hug type niggas? And I'm like, my dumb ass starts skip to my loo to him because that locked it in. He got a taste of my vulnerable energy. I was already bleeding on him. You know what I mean? I was already bleeding on him. And I had to stop myself midway. I was like, bitch, why are you skipping for some other woman's man? Are you fucking kidding me? Fucking kidding me? You don't even like him like that. Like, what the fuck are we doing? But then my guys were like, no, let her do it. Because she needs to learn a lesson. Let her learn the lesson. So, wild business. And so we're doing the training. He's like, give me a hug. He said, how are you? Are we good? Oh, you looking good today? All this shit. I'm like, stupid. But you know, all that shit is happening, and then like we're in the training, and I'm not dumb. I'm fucking smart. It's just I like to play dumb because niggas think you fucking dumb. And when they underestimate you, then you're like, all right, you want to underestimate me? Cool. I'm going to collect this information until you fucking tell me what I already fucking know. And by the time you tell me you think you got something, you ain't got shit because I already prepared. When you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Like, I don't fucking play that shit. You know, like, you fucking kidding me? But all right, think I'm this, think I'm that. Just comes I'm the woo woo girl. That's why all the fucking clients are up here and they're fucking up my ass because I'm seeing them. Y'all not seeing them. Past their name and their social security number as a number. Like working with humans. The fuck, human services is a point. Humans are who you're serving. Not numbers, because then it'll be number services. Fucking dipshits. Anyways, point is, right? So I'm answering all the questions, because like it's like a customer service kind of per se training. So I'm answering all the questions, and everybody's like, "Yo, Autumn, you mad fucking smart." I'm like, "What? Y'all niggas thought I was dumb? That I got here on my fucking tetas? Like, what the fuck?" Okay. Cool. So while this is happening, like me and him are sitting at the table together, arm to arm. It's just a lot of flirting. It's a lot of fucking flirting. I'm saying everything that I want to fucking hear, everything that I needed to hear at that moment, just not from him, because who I really wanted to hear it from, I haven't been in contact with that person because I don't know where the fuck he is. Or if he even fucking gives a shit about me. You know what I mean? If he gives a shit about me still after what I did, you know what I mean? Just fucking bullshit. Like, but it wasn't. There we go. So then, time goes by, and we're still flirting, and all the other like girls that I was hanging out with at the office was like, "Yo, we see it. What's going on?" Right? Then at some point, I was just like, "Yo, like this can't go on. This is not right." And you're like, my feelings, bro. My feelings. But you're over here. You're just like literally draining me. You're draining me. There was one time he was like, kept coming around my desk asking for random shit. Like he asked me for Post-its, knowing that where his desk is sits right on top of the drawer that they use for stationery. How do you... What? But you want me to give you Post-its. You just came over to my desk to siphon me. That's it. And it wouldn't be no thing if you weren't married. But okay. Right? But again, like, there's a lot that happened to the story. I had to stop it, which I did, and it took a minute for him to adhere to it. So I was just like, "Yo, like, you didn't hear what the fuck I said? I said, like, I told you, let's just keep this shit professional. It's getting awkward and it's getting weird. I just think it's better if we just not come in contact with each other unless it's something to do with work. You didn't hear what I said? You thought I'm stupid? Thought I was playing?" And then he started backing off, but kept kind of lingering around. But then he started showing up in my dreams. And this is why I tell you, be very careful, because energetically people can stalk you as well too. He just kept trying to get me. You know, if you have a dream where it's someone that you know you are not interested in, someone you don't have interest in, you wouldn't ever, um, be careful. Never sleep with anyone in your dreams. Never eat anything in your dreams. You never know who it is. And after, like, during that time, I was getting stalked energetically by my ex as well too. And then this nigga is stalking me energetically, right? But then at the same time, I'm also dreaming about the person that the universe already showed me is my person, you know. So it was just it was a myriad of so many different emotions, so many different lessons, and what a time to be in solitude from the universe. It's just that. The reason why I say all this is because at some point, people always show you who they are, what they're about, what their motives are, what they want, what they don't want. And people will keep you around for entertainment, for resources, but they won't keep you around because they actually want you. You know, it hurt that someone that I considered him my friend at some time, but it hurt because I was like, yo, like, you saw how vulnerable I was. You saw how vulnerable I was. And you capitalized off of it to give you energy because you, I don't know, maybe wasn't getting it at home in your relationship. You know, that's not right. That's not right. Same thing with the other girls. You saw all the things that I could offer, all the things that I could give, what I was willing to do, all these things, you know, like, but then when I needed time for myself to replenish myself, you know what I mean? You got mad at that because I didn't become available to you. But clearly I was going through a lot of shit. So it's just you need discernment. You need discernment. Be discerning when it comes to who you allow in your circle. Be discerning when it comes to who you allow to be your friends, who has access to you. Be discerning. There are people, it could be friends, family, relationships, and they will have you around, but they don't like you. They don't want you. They only keep you around because they don't want somebody else to have you. There's a saying that says, don't let your boyfriend keep you from your husband. And that's where I was. That's the truth. I'm not saying that because I have a relationship, because I don't. But don't let your boyfriend keep you from your husband. The universe will always show you who people really are, especially if it's become a challenge for you to see it in real life when you're awake. And I know that now because I just witnessed a spiritual attack on me from two people that I thought were my girls, and they're not. They have allegiance with each other. There was never allegiance to me, and that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. So I guess I'm saying this to give you heeding a warning. You know, people will keep you around for their benefit, but when you no longer benefit them, they will discard you. But in every person, like I said before, everybody's a portal. That leads you to ultimately finding your clan, finding your purpose, finding your people, finding, you know, you know. Did these things hurt? Of course they did. I was fucked up over them for a while. was fucked up over them for a while. And when Spirit told me yesterday that, hey, why don't you go and make this? I need you to say something. I was like, I really don't want to bring that back up, because the way I was boo-hooing over that coworker, the way I was boo-hooing over these people, the way I was boo-hooing over just all these things, I didn't want to reopen that again. But here we are in the pine cones, the pine trees, where your ancestors are, where spirit can get you, where the life forces of nature live. You sit here with your tuchus on the ground, right? With your yoni on the ground, with the seat of you on the ground. As you say this, it absorbs it up. That's why I'm so hell-bent on just, you have issues, you gotta cry, you gotta, whatever it is, come to nature. And I know it seems challenging when you're in big city areas, but if you can find a place that has more trees and grass than it does buildings and cars, go to it. Take a blanket, sit on the ground, you know what I mean? Talk to a tree. Hell, do what I'm doing, you know what I mean? Do that, because after saying everything that I just said, after explaining these relationships, these friendships, it just makes it more apparent why the universe pushes you in the way that they push you, the way they hurt you in the way that they hurt you, because you need to see yourself and how you hurt yourself. Because I didn't have strong boundaries. That situation with, Stella, right? That wouldn't have happened if my boundaries were strong enough, But I needed that lesson to show me, hey, this is where you're lacking defense. You know who your person is. You know who your divine spouse is. You know him. You've met him. Whether you're talking or not, it's a different story. But you know him. And he knows you. Right? Hopefully he remembers. But why are you going to be so open? You're someone who's not even on your level. It's things to keep in mind, right? It's things to keep in mind. So these events, these toxic people, relationships, friendships, they all come into your life to teach you one thing. Where are you lacking? Where are your boundaries not fully stable? Where are you leaking? Hear that horn? These relationships teach you where you're leaking. Therefore, when you finally let go of these relationships, whether it's with friends or family or romantic, right? When you let go of these relations, you let that ship sail. You can patch up. And the patching up is not for you to never open again. It's so that you are more stable. Because when your person comes around, they're going to challenge you. They're going to challenge these boundaries. And they're also going to show you, other places you're leaking, or the places that are blocked from receiving. So yeah, does it hurt? It hurts that someone I considered a friend in all ways, shapes, or forms, all these people, someone I considered to be a friend would do something like that to me. Of course it does. Take advantage of you in your most vulnerable moment. That's not a friend. Does that hurt? Of course. But I'm also grateful because I have learned so much since then. I have healed so much since then. I have rebuilt myself so much since then, in the energetic way, in the emotional way, and in the character way. Right. Um, it also helped me in a wild sense. It also helped me realize who I am. For years, I've always felt like the ugly duckling. I have been the ugly duckling. Just weird, big eyebrows, sideburns, lisp, big hair, big ass head, big body, big everything. And like too much, to the big personality, big laugh, big dreams, big imagination. I've just always been a lot. And I've always been told to calm it down, tone it down, shut it off, all these things, you know what I mean? And so, not feeling like feminine enough, been a tomboy, not secure in my sexuality at that time, not understanding why I felt so double-spirited, being able to tap into my masculinity so strong, but also being able to tap into my femininity. I'm not going to say as strong because I've yet to feel safe to be feminine. After being molested when I was younger, after being raped on multiple accounts with other relationships, after this last relationship, having that, essay happening all the time. Um, I never felt safe to be feminine. I never felt safe to release, whether it's just, you know what I mean, or in an intimate way. Never been safe to do that. And I always felt like I had to protect myself. And that goes hand in hand with that performance. You know what I mean? I think there was only one person I was really, truly able to let my guard down with. And I miss that person. But the universe has a plan, so I don't know what's happening with that. But that's my truth. So that's what we're saying, my truth. But the point is, these people teach you these lessons. And it's up to you to make something of it and not let it be, oh, this is my life, this is my trauma, I'm never going to change. No, you do change. That's the point of life. The point of life is to change. Not only are we spiritual beings having a human experience, we are also receptors. We are informants for the universe so that it can evolve itself. So it splits itself into so many different people of so many different nationalities, of so many different languages, of so many different beliefs, but they all lead back to one. I mean, I don't understand why people are fucking fighting over which one's the right one. They're all the fucking same. They're all the fucking same. Pick one and do right by it. Pick one and do right by people. Pick one and do right by others. Or create your own. Or create a little fucking sancocho of like religion. Or not. Or spirituality. You know what I mean? But this is the point of life. The point of life. And each person that remembers it, we become better. But it's distractions. Those people were distractions. Those feelings being brought up, you know, I was distracting myself with other things so that I wouldn't have to deal with it. But what you resist persists, you know. So, in long but short, that's my rant for today. If it helped you, I'm glad. If you got to know a little bit more about me, cool beans. But